Hello friends! Today I'm going to show you a little slice of the Southern Tier bike route across the United States. And I'm also going to show you a little bit of the Pacific Crest Trail for hiking. Got some brand new bike gear today that I'm excited to show you about. Just came in the mail today. One is I got a new water reservoir for my Camelback. I did have a Camelback for several years. The bladder that was in it was about 10 years old, and when I checked it the other day, but after not using it for quite some time, it had all crumbled and is not usable anymore, so it was time to get a new one. And I decided to get a few other things along the way. So one of the things I got that I'm very excited about, because it will be good news for you who watch my videos, is this phone mount. So I've been taking lots of video. I wish I could have taken video of some of the bike rides I'd been on before, but I am not capable of riding a bike and holding a phone at the same time with being, confident about not crashing. Another thing I got was this bike bag. I'm hoping to get more bags soon so I can carry more stuff, maybe something for back here, maybe even something under the seat. But for now, this will do for day trips. It is waterproof, it is BPA free, it's reflective for safety, and there is plenty of room to hold a cheeseburger. Don't go on a bike trip without it. Of course, there's also my bike keys and an apple. And there is plenty of room for other things too. So behind me is a portion of the Southern Tier bike route that goes across the United States from San Diego to St. Augustine, Florida. And behind me, and on the other side of the road, is the Pacific Crest Trail, which is a hiking trail that goes from the Mexican border to the Canadian border. I am definitely closer to the Mexican border. I've actually been to the start of the Pacific Crest Trail before, and I've done some portions throughout California and Oregon. This one though, this is my first time going on this exact portion of the route, and I think it'll be a pretty interesting one. I already met just a couple of thru hikers. It is the season for thru hikers here in late April, mid-April, so lots of people doing that. One thing to note is there are a lot of these signs throughout the area, and it shows which portions are open to what. So we're actually near an equestrian camp, so this portion is open to horses as well as hikers. It is not open to motor vehicles or bicycles. So I did lock my bike up across the street. I have the keys with me. It is also out of the way. You can't see it from the road, obviously. So I think it'll be a safe place for it. And we are going to continue on this trail and see what adventures are to be had. Usually when you come to a gate on a trail like this, it means there's livestock on one side or the other. So hikers are welcome to go through, but make sure to close those so that the livestock doesn't go where it's not supposed to. I had to bike over the Interstate 8 in order to get to this trail, and now I have to hike underneath the Interstate 8. bit of a confession to make. This isn't even my first hike of today. I've actually been very intentional this spring about hiking after kind of a dormant winter for me. And speaking of that, I am taking part in what's called the Spring 100 Challenge, so I want to give a quick shout out to that just for fun. I've been taking part in Spring 100 for the past several years. It happens every spring. The challenge is to walk and record 100 miles. It's a great community of Christians from around the world that are all getting together in their own way to go for walks and kind of jumpstart their physical fitness for the spring. So it is too late to sign up for this year, but if you are interested, I encourage you to sign up for Spring 100 next spring or any spring thereafter. It is a fun way to just encourage yourself to go out on walks like this. 100 miles throughout the course of spring is a little over a mile each day, or you can do it in big chunks like this. So this morning, I started hiking at about 6 in the morning, just for work to do some trail maintenance. I'll tell you more about my job later in another video probably. And I was like, well, if I start work at 6, I'll get off early. I'll have plenty of time to go hiking on the PCT. So that's exactly what I'm doing. The area down below me looks a little bit barren, which is a little bit interesting. Not because of the region we're headed towards the desert region, but the reason I chose this portion of the trail is because there's supposed to be a waterfall. Let's see what the waterfall actually looks like. We're not quite there yet, and still got at least another mile or so to go. But while we're walking, let me tell you about the Pacific Crest Trail, in case you don't know much about it. So the Pacific Crest Trail starts in Campo, California, which is right on the Mexican border. The start of the trail is literally right on the wall that separates the United States from Mexico. People usually start in the springtime if they're doing a through hike and at the Canadian border. The trail ends just before you get to Canada, so you don't need a passport to go the entirety of the trail. However, it is also open for day hikes, such as what I'm doing right now, through several portions of it at least. Some parts take permits, some parts don't, especially if you're just doing a day hike, you most likely don't need a permit. So that is the Pacific Crest Trail. It goes through California, Oregon, and Washington. Now, I knew about the Pacific Crest Trail for years. I actually grew up in Oregon, not too far away from it. But I actually didn't find out about the Pacific Crest Trail until I'd lived there for several years. And yeah, that was something interesting to find out. But even more interesting is that I lived on the Southern Tier bike route for 4 years now, and I didn't know what it was until just recently. So I'd been biking on the Southern Tier bike route without even knowing that it was a famous bike route that can take you all the way across the country. So the Southern Tier bike route, not related to the Pacific Crest Trail at all, starts in San Diego at Ocean Beach and it ends in Florida. So I've been riding portions of that recently, ever since I found out about it. And I just happened to come to the area where the Pacific Crest Trail and the Southern Tier bike route intersect. So whether you like hiking or biking, there's definitely something for you on one of those routes. Let me know which you'd prefer in the comments down below. Would you rather hike the Pacific Crest Trail or bike the Southern Tier bike route? Neither of them are the longest routes of their kind. The Pacific Crest Trail is quite long, but I believe the Continental Divide Trail, which is another cross-country trail, north to south or south to north, is a little bit longer. The Southern Tier bike route is actually the shortest bike route that goes across the United States coast to coast. Going through a manzanita grove! Oh, and that's a cactus that is growing out of the rock. This is pretty amazing. Great views, for sure. The yucca's in full bloom and it is huge. Look at this thing. This is as far as I can reach up. Can't barely pluck one of the flowers. I didn't expect to have views of the freeway for most of this hike. That's kind of surprising. But I've been through a lot of different flora. I started in a forested area, and now I've got more desert type plants around me. Lots of cactus. It's pretty interesting. Still got a little bit more to go before I get to the falls. I just looked it up on my map. It's called Kitchen Creek Falls. Never been there before, but I have seen Kitchen Creek. The problem with creeks around this area is that they're very seasonal. So I don't know what we'll see regarding the falls, but we'll find out in a little bit. So I'm going to enjoy a quick dinner here by the falls before I head back to the road to ride my bike back home. When I got the cheeseburger, it was just something left over in the staff fridge at work. Wasn't planning for a cheeseburger in paradise joke, but if that's what it means, I'm here for it. Admittedly, I've seen much bigger and better falls, but I think the canyon here is still pretty gorgeous. And I think a lot of the thru hikers think so as well, because I saw a lot of them setting up camp as I was taking the side trail off the PCT to get to the falls. In fact, one right there. But because they are all setting up camp for the night, that is a good sign that I should probably start heading back so I can make it back to the road before nightfall. Destination is over at that hill, but then I'm taking the back road behind the freeway back that way for probably about 12 miles. So my encouragement to you, no matter where you are in the world, whether you're near the Pacific Crest Trail for hiking or the Southern Tier bike route for biking or any of the other trails or bike routes there are for hiking and biking, my encouragement to you is to just get outside, explore what is around you. I can't believe it took me this long to get onto this trail. I've lived about 12 miles away for the past almost 4.5 years and never even bothered coming out here. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, there's probably something around you that would be really interesting to explore. I've met a lot of people who've said they've never gone on a hike before. That's kind of crazy to me, considering I've gone on 2 hikes just today alone. But just because you're in a region that's not known for hiking doesn't mean that you can't find some other way to enjoy the outside. You can bike. If you don't have a bike, you can either save up for one. I've given some tips in a previous video about how I saved up for a bike. Or use what you do have. If you have roller skates, scooter, there's tons of options. Or you can borrow one if you really don't have anything. But most of us have either a pair of feet or a wheelchair or something that we can move around in. So take advantage of what you do have. Doesn't matter what you don't have. Find what you do have and use it to make the most of it. So I hope to hear a lot of fun adventures that you guys have been going on. Please report back to me. Let me know in the comments where you've gone, what you've enjoyed, even places that you haven't enjoyed so much. What would you do differently? Let me know. Now, of course, if you would like to do the same route that I just did today, I bicycled from Pine Valley to the Pacific Crest Trailhead for the Kitchen Creek Trailhead. And then I hiked the Kitchen Creek Trail portion up to Kitchen Creek Falls, and I'm doing an out and back, so same exact route going back, not a loop. So I'm still on the PCT, but soon I will be, or at least I'm halfway back. So soon I will be back on the road. I am riding an e-bike, so it will be a little bit of a break compared to the hike. And I'm definitely enjoying my hiking bikes. I don't know if anybody else calls them hiking bikes, but what do you call when you bike until you can't bike anymore and then you hike the rest of the way for something? Because I've done that a lot, especially when I lived in Colorado and now that I live out here in California. So according to my step counting apps, well, I am underneath the interstate right now, but according to my step counting apps, I have walked about 30,000 steps today, or close to it. I definitely have walked at least 30,000 steps by the time I hit the end of the trail. About half of that was on this trail, the other half was from the other activities I was doing earlier today. So quite a good workout, I would say. It is gorgeous here. Look at all that. All right, so, and then bike riding is about 12 or 13 miles each way, so close to 25 miles of biking. Of course, I'm using pedal assist, so you can't entirely count that, I admit, but it's definitely a good workout today. Yes, I made it back to my bike. I left my apple inside my bike bag, so I'm just enjoying a little refreshing snack before I start heading back. I spent a little bit more than 2 hours on the trail, so pretty good timing, I would say. And still plenty of time to bike back while there's still daylight. The sun is setting though, so I will have to leave pretty soon. So come and join the bike ride back. And I think we'll have a lot of fun after taking a trip on the Pacific Crest Trail to also take a trip on the Southern Bike Tier. Good. Thank you. So I'm back in Pine Valley now, or at least just about to be. I'm currently crossing the Interstate 8. Now I'll just make a turn, and I'll be back in Pine Valley and almost home. So it's been a lot of fun spending time with you. I hope if you like this video, please like this video, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you can do to make this video reach the people that need to be able to see it. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your adventures. Bye!